Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Salam Academy Alumni Leadership Club interview series, I Am Possible. Here's our host, Maryam Gauba, and our guest, Leena Aggad.
Assalamu alaikum, Leena. Jazakallah khair for joining us today. We're honored to meet you and learn about your success story.
Walaikum Salam. Thank you for having me.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself, about your education, career, job, successes, etc.
Well, my name is Leena Aggad. I am currently 22 years old. I'm a current student at the University of New Mexico. I have completed my Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering. So I'm working on 2 more degrees right now. That is a Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics, as well as a Master's of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Along with that, outside of academics, I have 2 career position and then 1 position that I think is just a regular job. So my more career focused things are my position at Sandia National Labs. I'm a purchase product quality engineer, so basically a mechanical engineer there. And then I also do research, so I'm a soon to be published author in combustion instabilities, that is work through UNM. And then I have another job. I'm a teaching assistant for a higher level mechanical engineering course, which is pretty cool. I get a tutor and help out students as well as grade their work. Along with that, so when I started my bachelor's, be, I was able to receive the Presidential Scholarship Award, which paid for the majority of my schooling. But throughout school, I had really heavy semesters, and that's because I was trying to do 2 semesters at once. So as I mentioned before, my Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics, I was doing at the same time as my mechanical engineering degree. So sometimes I took 20 or 21 credit hour semesters, which was very heavy on my wallet. So I reached out to other scholarships and I was able to receive a scholarship called the Arab Women Scholarship, which basically just a scholarship that wants to see Arab women succeed, and it is given by UNM. So I was a recipient of that. And yeah, that's kind of how I was able to make it through all of my schoolwork successfully.
So you're an engineer. Why did you decide to become an engineer?
I love saying the story. When I was younger, when I was in middle school and the beginning part of high school, for some reason, there's a stereotype or a stigma that all smart kids become doctors. That's it. So I wanted to be a doctor. I like knew what type of doctor and I planned it all out until I realized that it took forever to get through medical school. And I realized that never mind, that's not for me. I don't have the patience for that. So I realized that I really like to build things. Whenever there was like art projects or stuff like that, like I really enjoyed using my hands. And so I wanted to be an architect. And then I realized that I don't only like building things, I love breaking them as well. Like I really like to learn how things work and just figure out, how do I use this? Okay, let's break it down, let's rebuild it. So that's when I realized that engineering was for me. And I was really lucky when I was a senior in high school. I was taking some dual credit courses and I found a class offered in CNM called Introduction to Engineering. And it's a 16-week course that kind of devotes 2 or 3 weeks to every specific branch of engineering. So in engineering, there's a multiple of different things. There's a multitude of different things you can do. There's civil engineering, construction engineering, chemical, computer, electrical, mechanical, which is what I do. And so I knew that I wanted to be an engineer, but I didn't know what type. I took that course and I realized that the weeks that we covered mechanical engineering, I just fell in love. Like I was really interested. And that's not to take away from other types of engineering. They're all important, they're all interesting, but mechanical is just where my heart laid.
Tell us what one would need to know about this profession.
So probably the most important thing is that you have to be unique. You have to be a little weird to be an engineer, definitely, but anyone is able to do it. The You are able to execute things in such a creative way. But to get started, I would say definitely focus on your math and science classes. That's the main focus, obviously. Once you get through your first freshman level math courses, you're able to apply to get into the mechanical engineering program. And from there, the classes are really cool. You dive deeply into a lot of interesting topics, things that you would never thought about. I remember in my physics class, we had like a whole class where we learned about what's a rainbow, you know? So you have to have the ability to really be interested in small things, I think, and just stay at it. You know, things get difficult sometimes. You might stay up all night studying for an exam, but in the end, like now when I look back, it's definitely all worth it. So in conclusion to that question, it's be unique, be creative, and also just stick to whatever you're studying.
I learned that you attended Salam Academy. Any good memories about Salam Academy?
The best memories are definitely friendships. Uh, I was thinking about this question before this interview, and the one thing that definitely sticks out to me is that there's people that I went to STEM Academy for, even for a few months. I know some people started STEM Academy, maybe moved out of state, but I still stay in contact with them to this day, like post college. We haven't seen each other physically in years, maybe even a decade, but we still are in contact through social media. Rather, there's people that I went to high school with outside of Salam Academy that I saw every day, talked to every day for 4 years, and I'm not in contact with them. So I think the best memories are those friendships that you make in such a short amount of time. And also a great thing about Salam Academy, one of the best memories is the freedom that I had. So as I mentioned before, to be an engineer, you kind of have to be creative. You kind of have to set your own path. And Salam Academy really sets that up for you. I know a lot of people think that, oh, there's no set curriculum because you have like fifth grade and sixth grade students attending the seventh grade or eighth grade math classes. But I think that's one of the best things that STEM Academy has to offer. When I was in fourth grade and fifth grade, I was excelling in math. So I was able to attend those higher courses. So when I got out of STEM Academy and went to public school, I was way ahead of every other student. And that's not to take away from any other class. I was still doing well in social studies because I was with my class. I was at the pace that I needed to be, but I was able to excel in the things that were strong. You know, it sets the foundation for everything, but then it also gives you a little bit of extra push for the things that you're already good at. So those are the best memories, is friendship and able to be creative.
What extracurricular activities were you involved in when you attended Salam Academy?
The extracurricular activities was science fair, and there were generally some like after school activities. I remember being in like Russian club, whatever was offered, I went for it. And that's because I was a little bit of a social butterfly. I mean, I'm still a social butterfly. So any opportunity that I had to spend more time with friends, I definitely went for it. But I think what Salam Academy really taught me is during science fair, I mean, I wasn't too serious. Like I said, I was more in it for a social aspect. So, but I was also really competitive. So when I didn't really get the placements that I wanted, it kind of pushed me in the future now to be in a leadership role. So now involved in a multitude of different organizations and student groups. For example, I'm president of Tau Beta Pi, which is a engineering honor society, which I could have mentioned earlier, but only the top 15% of engineers are in it. And I am president. I joined 2 years ago, my junior year of college. I am trying to revamp UNM's MSA. So hopefully I've been getting that going. And we also are doing lectures and stuff like that I've started this semester. I am also president of a engineering group called the National Society of Black Engineers, which is open to every single race and ethnic group. So I'm their president and I help with the junior kids, so kids that are not in college yet. We do things like Science Olympiad, robotics, and I facilitate all of that. So growing up, I kind of saw things that I was missing out on. So I kind of wanted to fill those holes for other students and realize that it's not about competition. So when I lead things, I don't really go in it for winning. I actually want people to learn and enjoy the whole activity instead. So then they can kind of turn out like me and then turn around. And if they don't succeed the way that they want to, they can help the next generation succeed. So that's kind of what it was like for me. I like the social aspect of it more than the actual competition. So that turned into my leadership roles. And I kind of knew how those activities were run. So I got like the background information and then used that to my own success of my students.
We hear that students going to Islam Academy are isolated from. We hear that students going to Islamic school are isolated from society. Did you find the school well integrated into the greater community beyond school?
I mean, definitely, because again, I was so social from when I was young. So it was easy for me to make friends. I mean, I participated in sports outside of Salam Academy. So it was easy for me to make friends that were non-Muslim. Also, I vividly remember there was a lot of exchange that we had with other students. I remember when I was young going to like the Jewish Community Center, and then they came and visited our facility. I remember going on like mixed field trips and stuff like that. So there was definitely integration. But I think that question is really interesting because the whole point of Salam Academy to a point is to kind of keep us away from bad influences that occur in outside schools. So to an extent, I think the integration that we have is good. I mean, in a way, a goal of Salam Academy is to not be integrated fully into that society, correct? So yeah, I think we're integrated just fine. We meet our goal of keeping our kids pure, as well as, just introducing them to the culture, so then when they do go out into the real world, they know how it is, but they're able to be strong in who they are, you know?
Mhm. Is it hard to be a practicing Muslim and a successful global citizen at the same time?
I love that question because I think that it is a paradox in itself. I think that you cannot be a Muslim and not be a good global citizen. Uh, the essence of our religion is to, help out your community no matter where you are. Correct. Even if you're in a place that is a majority non-Muslim community, you should still follow their guidelines no matter what. Like, that is what our religion teaches us, right? And Islam Academy taught that to us when we did have those mixed events. We listened to their rules and everything that they had, but we still kept our character and our culture and our religion. So definitely Islam Academy showed me how to do it. I followed the examples of the teachers that I saw around me. The whoever was in a leadership position kind of taught us how to act. And sometimes if we felt like either insecure or too strongly about something, they guided us through that and taught us that, the outside world is just like Salam Academy. It's just people of different religions. And so definitely I don't think I've ever met a student of Salam Academy, or in general any Muslim, that is not a good global citizen.
Where do you hope to be in 10 years?
I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. Let's see. In 10 years, I I think the path that I want to take forward is definitely in research. I like things that are new, kind of like on the edge, things that have never been done for before. And meanwhile, I do love my job. It's a very stable job that I have. I think I'm going to move into something more research based, innovation based. So hopefully in the future, I would like to have a multitude of papers published, and perhaps get into academia as a professor, um, something like that, where I can help the next generation. So if I'm able to be a professor and have my own students that work under me doing their own research, I think that'll be great. In order to do that, I am going to need a PhD. So hopefully we can get through that. I mean, in the next year and a half, I'll have my next bachelor's and master's. So yeah, and then obviously a family.
Any wishes or suggestions for Salam Academy students?
Stay focused. Stay focused and stay creative, and don't take anything too seriously. When I say stay focused, I just mean like have your goals in mind. Like whatever you do, just know that there's a bigger goal out there. We all have bad days, we all have mess ups. I remember when I started my first semester straight out of high school, I was taking calculus 1 and I failed my first exam. And I thought, that's it. I need to quit. I'm just going to become a waitress. Like, it, I had to stick through that. So you have bad days. And so I had to take a break in terms of like seriousness. So, go do something to take your mind off of it, maybe for a day or two, and then get back to it. So that's when I'm combining not being serious all the time, but still keeping your goals in mind. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to get your mind off things, but then always remember that you have that goal in the far end, and then continue to work to that. 5 steps forward and 3 steps back is still 2 steps forward. So I would always remember that. Yeah. And always allow yourself to be creative in whatever you do. If there is a harder way to do something, but you like that way more, go for that. Don't always take the path that's most traveled. I heard a quote one time, and it was like, the tree that's less used bears more fruits. So, a tree that most people don't lean towards has more fruit growing on it, right? Because more people haven't picked from it. So it's okay to choose that tree. You have more opportunities to show your creativity and stuff like that. I think that's the most important thing. And always be confident in your character. I think when you meet someone, and sometimes you meet really strong people, and they kind of feel like they have to intimidate you. And if you don't crack to that, they respect you more. I think someone that you disagree with respects you more than someone who you just blindly agree with. You know what I mean? If you have your own opinions and you stick strong to that, people will respect you way more than if you just follow whatever they say. Be a leader, not a follower.
Yeah. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase your benefits beneficial knowledge and honor, may be blessed with the best in dunya and Jannah.
I mean, thank you so much.
Jazakallah khair, Maryam and Leena. Leena, mashallah, I'm so impressed, and I'm sure everybody else listening to your interview will feel so good about, mashallah, we have such a wonderful global citizen on this earth, mashallah. So for the listeners, to learn more about Salam Academy, please visit www.salamacademy.org. Thank you.